Hey, what's up guys? So we're here to show off the Mudunugu's Regalia. This is the new Witch Doctor set that is all about Spirit Barrage. So let's go ahead and show off the new set really quick and go over the effects, and then I'm going to go ahead and hop right into some gameplay, and then I will explain everything in depth and go over what is the best in slot for different builds here. Because there are two different builds, there's an LOD and there is a 6-piece build. So anyways, with the 2-piece bonus, Big Bad Voodoo now follows you and lasts twice as long. With the 4-piece bonus, you gain 50% damage reduction for 30 seconds when you enter the Spirit Realm. That is procced when you activate your Spirit Walk, which will pretty much be in every build anyways. And then when you have a 6-piece set bonus, you're going to make it so Spirit Barrage deals increased damage equal to 50 times your mana regeneration a second. So anyways, now that we went over the build briefly, I will go ahead and go again in depth in a second. I just want to hop right into the gameplay because I know a lot of people, they just want to see what the heck the build does. And I'll also kind of explain how to play it because it is very squishy and it is very active, as in you're going to have to proc a lot of different things at once. So pretty much you're going to have to activate and keep up Soul Harvest 100% of the time with the 10 stacks. You're going to have to also keep up Horrify the whole time, and you have to keep up Big Bad Voodoo, and you have to make sure you are utilizing Spirit Walk as often as possible so you can make sure that you keep up that damage reduction. And then you have to cast Haunt as well as Spirit Barrage on all your targets because that's how you're going to be dealing all of your damage. And then just keep up Big Bad Voodoo when you can. Let's go ahead and hop right into a Torment 16 here so you guys can get a good idea on how the heck it actually plays. So immediately you want to make sure you activate all of your abilities pretty much, but Soul Harvest needs to actually connect with the target. But it's a fairly easy build to play. It's just that you do have to kind of spam on the buttons. So if you are a fan of nunlocking builds, this might be a good build for you. If you don't like pushing buttons, like you like to hold down Whirlwind, this might not be the build for you because it is not easy to play for some people when it requires you to kind of maintain a lot of different things at once. And I totally get that because this one you got to keep up that Spirit Barrage at 10 at all times. In addition to keeping up Big Bad Voodoo. It's just a lot to manage, really. But in terms of the high GR pushing, it's about equivalent with Barb right now, with Barb's new set. But I think that Wizard still outclasses it. And this is actually the last video that we need to go over as far as all of the new sets. And if you guys haven't seen the Wizard video, the Barbarian video, I've covered all of them now. And so far, I would say Wizard is pretty much in the highest tier category. Because I know a lot of people just want to know, yo, what's the best one? As far as it goes right now, if you're looking for new content and you want to be able to push the highest, at the moment on the PTR, because this is PTR gameplay, that one is simply just going to be the best. But you can see this build does massive amounts of damage. It takes a second for it to kind of go through, is what I think a lot of people are going to be turned down by, because you gotta utilize Haunt, you gotta use Spirit Barrage, and then to get its maximum damage, you actually have to get within close range. And some people just simply aren't into that. But the build is relatively squishy until you get your Soul Harvest stacks up. So just keep that in mind as well. If you are having troubles with the build early on, it's usually because of that. And Esoteric Alteration can also help out. In fact, the player that's ranked 1 right now is still utilizing that. But it's pretty much easy to play. Again, it's just keeping up this is, I think, going to be difficult for some people, because you actually have to target the units. Which actually just go to the left over here, because I think that might be a dead end if we go to the right. We'll go to the next floor. But there could be situations where there's just no enemies. Oh, that's a dead end. Unlucky. But there could be situations where you run into where Soul Harvest is not able to be active. And those are the situations where you'll just get one shot. You can see I took massive amount of damage right there simply because of that. Definitely have to watch out for that. I won't grab the speed pylon just so I can keep the build in a more, I guess, true state. Because I don't want to make it look faster than it is. But it is relatively fast. I mean, almost all the builds in Diablo at this point are relatively fast. And you can clear all content with this build, like T16, no problem at all. Go ahead and destroy this minion. But you'll see the Rift Guardian. That's where this build really shines. And you can see it just like pops. It's because as soon as I stop channeling, it just gives it all that damage. And it pops very, very fast indeed. But anyways, let's go ahead and go back to town. And you can see, again, I'm suboptimal on my gear. So I will go ahead and give you guys the best build in a moment here. I'm just going to go ahead and upgrade these gems. And then we'll go over what is the best in slot. And there are 2 different builds for this new Witch Doctor. So let me go ahead and actually dismiss all these first because they're going to get very annoying. They're going to keep on constantly making sounds. And you can't unequip the belt to make them all go away at once, unfortunately. You have to manually dismiss them. But anyways, now that those guys are gone, let's go ahead and go over the best builds for them. So there is 2 different builds. The one that you guys just saw is the 6-piece, which is currently ranked #1 over on the PTR leaderboards. However, there is an LOD build that is not far behind at all. I mean, it's literally just 1 GR. So I would say both of them are quite viable. So anyways, for the most part, everyone's running the 6-piece of course, the Mudunugus. And on top of that, you're also utilizing the Belt of Transcendence. This gives you a fetish Sycophant when you hit with a mana spender, which basically gives you a bunch of units on board. So it really helps make it so you don't get really all the aggro drawn to you. And then on top of that, you have the Bracers, the Lakumba's Ornament, so that will give you some extra damage reduction for each stack of Soul Harvest that you have. And then we're utilizing the Endless Walk set, so Traveler's Pledge, as well as the Compass Rose. And then we're also utilizing the Ring of Emptiness, which is a multiplier for the bonus that we're beginning with the Wormwood, which is inside of our cube over here. So Wormwood makes it so Locust Swarm continuously plagues enemies around you. You can visually see it by this little green aura around us. If we move around, there's a little like circle. It's kind of faint. It might be kind of hard to see, but that's what essentially is going to give our proc of the Ring of Emptiness, and that's why we're essentially utilizing Haunt. That's going to give us an insane amount of damage. That's what lets you one-shot the Rift Guardians. And then as far as the gems go, pretty much it's going to be the Bane of the Stricken. People are running Go-Go Swiftness and or Bane of the Trapped, because again, you're going to be in melee range anyways. But Go-Go Swiftness can be an option, as well as Esoteric Alteration. Again, the build is relatively squishy, so I think that this is a great choice if you guys are having trouble and are dying over and over again. This is probably your go-to gem, or legendary gem. But the Go-Go Swiftness also gives you increased cooldown reduction. For the most part, if you're clearing out content fast enough, Grave Injustice can really help out and pretty much make it so you don't need it. I've seen people also use a lot of different things in the Helm. You can run a Topaz, you can run an Amethyst, you can run a Diamond. It's just kind of all over the place as far as what people are utilizing. It depends on, of course, what your roles are. And on top of that, if you're doing speed builds, you should be able to get the Grave Injustice to proc often enough. And don't worry if you guys don't know what it does, I'll go over everything in a second. It's just from this screen, it doesn't give you more info on the passive. But basically, every time you eliminate an enemy within 20 yards, which you'll be close by because of Wormwood, and you want to proc your Ring of Emptiness, so you'll be within that melee range. And when you're into that close range, whenever something dies, you get to reset the cooldown of everything by 1 second. But if you just don't meet the cooldown thresholds, or you're not killing things fast enough, the Diamond is definitely the way to go. But as far as the weapon goes, the Barber, it gives you additional damage, another multiplier up to 500%. And on top of that, whenever you stop casting, it's going to do all of that accumulated damage. That's how, again, you one-shot the Rift Guardians. And then with Gazing Demise, you also make it so Spirit Barrage gains the Phantasm rune, and each active Phantasm lasts twice as long, and you get to increase the damage of Spirit Barrage by up to 150%. And that's pretty much it for the build over here. For the things in the cube, Wormwood, and as well as the Mask of Germs, so your pets will do more damage. And then on top of that, you have the Sacred Harvester to make it so Soul Harvest will stack up to 10 times, which will give you a more multiplier. Let me go and actually open up this skill screen, because otherwise the other one doesn't really explain stuff. So we'll go ahead and open up this one. So we're running Big Bad Voodoo Rain Dance. This makes it so you're going to be able to restore mana per second. This is why you're utilizing Big Bad Voodoo really in the first place. Lasting extra duration doesn't really matter. It's mostly that you want to be able to, well, you can keep it up pretty much the whole time anyways. If you guys have played like ZDPS builds originally, this kind of saw some play. But anyways, it's for that mana regeneration mostly. And then we have Spirit Walk. A lot of people are running the Jaunt over here, which will give you the increased duration of Spirit Walk. You can run whatever you want to. If you want to go a little bit faster, you can run this. This is more for speed, but most people, as far as the meta goes, are playing this to get that extra 1 second in. And then with Haunt, we're running Resentful Spirits, or you can run the Poisoned Spirit. If you're really trying to push high GRs, Poisoned Spirit is optimal, but if you want to just basically clear out content faster, being able to either have 2 spirits, or you can run the one where it will return mana per second. This is also another option. There's a few options with this one that I've seen up on the leaderboards. So Draining Spirits is an option, Poison Spirit is an option, and then Lingering Spirit can also be an option because it will kind of just stick around. So go with whatever one that you personally prefer. As far as if you guys want to know what the Tip Top is playing over here, he's running the Poison Spirit. Again, that's for more damage. But a lot of people are running different things with it. So you can see people are running a lot of different things. This guy's running Consuming Spirit, so he's getting some extra life per second. Again, literally every one of these runes sees play, and that's kind of rare for a build in Diablo. But anyways, we're running the Cold rune on Spirit Barrage over here, and you'll also be gaining that Phantasm rune, so it releases a little Spectre, and it'll kind of sit over there. And then with Soul Harvest, we're running Languish. As far as the builds go, this is pretty much going to be seen on every single one. Where is it? Languish, yes. That will give us extra survivability because it increases our armor by 10% per harvested enemy, so you get to increase your armor by a lot, and then also reduce their movement speed, but it's pretty much just for the other effect of gaining extra intelligence and extra armor over there. And then we're running a Horrify Frightening Aspect. This is going to make it so we gain 50% additional armor for 8 seconds after casting Horrify, which you pretty much keep up 100% of the time. Now, as far as the passives go, there are a few different ones that you can run. The most popular are going to be the Swampland Attunement for extra damage reduction, Rush of Essence, so you can actually increase your mana regeneration, Grave Injustice, which is basically like a Messerschmitt's. Again, that's the one where I mentioned where it's within 20 yards. As long as you're eliminating those enemies within that range, you're going to be able to gain 1% of your maximum life and mana, but more importantly, it's for the cooldown more than anything. And then the last one over here is kind of optional. A lot of people are running a lot of different things over here. If you really want to min-max for speed builds, you can actually drop Horrify, run the rune for the dog to reduce your damage taken by 10%, and then run Fierce Loyalty, because you're going to get 30% movement speed while you're not in combat, and then you get an additional 15% while just in general. This one can be an option, but for the most part, people are utilizing Spirit Vessel, so it's kind of that cheat death passive. But I actually really like Spiritual Attunement. As long as you're able to survive, Spiritual Attunement can be great because it's going to increase your mana generation. You can also utilize Jungle Fortitude. I've seen people do Pierce the Veil as well. It's kind of optional. The last one, go for whatever you want to go ahead and run. And lastly, again, in the cube, this is what we're going over for the cube. This one pretty much gives you all the info you need. But I did mention that there was another build over here, which is actually going to be a lot more difficult to run. This is going to be the LOD build. It requires you to actually manually cast Locust, which probably makes a lot of people not interested in running it, because this build already requires you to manage a lot of things at once. Like, activating this isn't that bad. He's running Healing Journey. I'll go over his build over here because there are a few things that are a little different. So he's running the Piranha Native. So basically it groups up all the enemies. This could maybe be a little bit better for group play because, again, you'll be able to group up all of those enemies. But instead of running the Wormwood, so you're able to have Locust just around you as an aura, he's running Echoing Fury to get a lot more DPS out of it. And then he's manually casting it again. It's just something that'll be a little bit more difficult to play. As far as the weapon and offhand, it's pretty much going to be the same one. And then we also see the Ring of Emptiness over here. But he's running a Unity as well as the Convention of Elements. So it's something a little bit different here. And then Swampland Waders, just for the extra bonus on the elemental damage, is great. And then Ice Climbers as well as Stone Gauntlets. Stone Gauntlets will give you a lot of extra survivability, but it does have a downside. Now, the downside is completely negated by Ice Climbers. Ice Climbers makes it so you're immune to freeze and immobilize, and that will completely make it so Stone Gauntlets does not have that downside. So it just gives you a bunch of survivability. Then because it is a channel ability over here, you have the ability to make it so you will deal more damage and take reduced damage over here, which is, yeah, okay, it says, we'll check. Fire bats, okay, so that is just, it might just be there in general, because it doesn't say Spirit Barrage specifically. I'm not sure. Sometimes there are things on the tooltip that doesn't explain things perfectly, and it might just still be proccing, but I'm pretty sure that it would need to specify it. Someone can let me know in the comments below. And it just might be because it happens to be ancient is why he's running it. But anyways, he's running the Mask of Jaren, and he's running a Topaz over here for reduced resource costs. And then we have Aquila Krios. I've seen also people run the Royal Ring of Grandeur and then run this in the chest piece for some extra damage reduction. And then Belt of Transcendence is pretty much seen all across the board, and of course Lukuma's Ornament. And then for the Amulet, the Flavor of Time, if you're looking to push for the highest grade risk, the Legacy of Dreams over here is in here. And anyways, yeah, this just really great for pylons. If you're able to RNG and get some good pylons, you'll be able to clear out very high GRs. But as far as the gems go, he's running the Legacy of Dreams, Bane of the Trapped, and Bane of the Stricken, which can also tactically be run in the other build that is currently ranked 1. Again, you can swap any of these out. Esoteric is really nice to have, though, again, because the build is very squishy. But anyways, guys, that is it for the Witch Doctor build. You guys can let me know what you think of it down below in the comment section below. Do you guys like this build? And if you guys do want to check out the Barbarian set, the Wizard set, the videos will be also pinned down below in the comment section below. And I will be also making a video kind of going over all of the different sets and how high they can push. And I'll be going over maybe a good general idea of maybe what to play coming into Season 20. Now, keep in mind, all this information is on the PTR. Things are subject to change. And I think maybe we'll get a buff for the Barb and the Witch Doctor because the Wizard is simply just outclassing it by a lot of GRs. But anyways, like I said, check those videos if you have not already. The Wizard one is really cool, though. I'll definitely recommend that one. But anyways, thanks for tuning in, guys, and I'll catch you in the next video. And if you enjoyed the video, drop a like on it. And if you're new to the channel, hit subscribe, turn on that bell so you don't miss out on more Diablo and other gaming content, because we got a new action RPG coming out in just one more week, which is Wolcen. Anyways, thanks for tuning in. I'll catch you guys next video. Have a good one, and I'm signing out. Peace.